honesty to bring these things about. I always say that we're a nation of good people. We are. Nigerians are very good people, very intelligent, very hardworking, very resilient, very patient. Our problem is leadership. We're good people. And that is why I sometimes worry over the emphasis on corruption. The corruption that we are suffering from is coming from the leadership. As they say, the poison of the pot is the poison of the good. But let me say, by way of my own comments, that the laws are not self-enforcing. The laws don't enforce themselves. In the story of the creation, this paradise, our first parents, there was just one law. Don't eat the forbidden fruit. Just one law. Don't. That law was not self-enforcing. And our first parents proceeded to eat the forbidden fruit. If it were a self-enforcing law, they wouldn't do that. The laws have never been self-enforcing. The Lord drove them out of the garden and then imposed on them 10 laws, 10 commandments. And we appear to be doing the same thing all the time. When we don't obey existing laws, we multiply the laws. That's what's happening. So the problem is not with the laws. It was Cassius who said to Moses, the fault is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings. The fault is not in the laws. The fault is, Jeremy said, the fault is in Nigerians. As of 1999, after about 30 years of military rule, corruption had permeated every department of the national life. And with the advent of civil rule, we went from one extreme of dictatorship to the other extreme of liberalism. Nigerians began to do as they pleased. With that kind of mentality, the system could not cope. The institutions for law enforcement, the police, is a limited institution. The judiciary is a limited institution. They are founded on the premise that the solution, the problems they will be called upon to solve are limited. If they become unlimited, they can't cope. The police, we went at that time from, I think, 130,000 policemen to something like double that number in 4 years. But how do you train over 100,000 policemen in 4 years? How do you do that? You go to court, and the judge has over 30 or 40 cases on the list. How can you cope? And what has happened is that the constant exposure of officials to situations about which they can do nothing only tends to brutalize them and make them indifferent. That's what has happened. We're indifferent. And I feel very sorry for those who are called upon to enforce the law. Because at the end of the day, all that happens is that their minds become brutalized, they become indifferent, and begin to participate in the breaking of the law. And look at the systems that we operate in. The states. The states are such small units. They are so small. They are easily pocketed by one person. Am I right? Yes. They are. No accountability in the states. Why? One person can pocket them and manipulate them. we need to re-examine the structure if we're being honest. You know, in 1968 or 67, we went from 4 regions to 12 states to 24 to 36. We have 36 states. We have 774 local governments and area councils. And each time we multiplied our manpower needs, we met the needs that arose by appointing unqualified people into very high offices. That's the problem of the nation. Unqualified people holding high offices. Apart from that, the boundaries of the states are rigid. Nothing has aided and facilitated corruption in our country more than the rigid boundaries of the states. If you are not an indigent of that state, you cannot vote there, no matter how qualified you may be. And if you are an indigent of that state, you will be appointed to high office, no matter how incompetent you are. Nigerians, geniuses of our country, are holding offices in other nations. But if they come back here, they cannot hold offices in some of our states. It's so funny. This is the problem. Now, we should stop, and this also is people. We dismiss the nation as an artificial. So stop dismissing the Constitution as an artificial creation. We talked about security. Don't expect to have security when our young people don't have the education that equips them for life. The education is theoretical. If our objective was to destroy our youth, we could not do better than to give them the kind of education that we are giving them now. So the educational system enhances the problem of insecurity, unemployment. There are no jobs. Then, of course, we have spoken about corruption. But on the issue of corruption, my appeal to the nation is this. I make this appeal with a prayer for forgiveness, in case you should think that I should not speak like that. But my appeal is this. We should stop those policies and programs of the government that discourage investment by Nigerians in the country. Nigerians are taking their monies to Ghana, to the Gambia, and investing, to Dubai, to the rest of the world. Why? They are afraid that if they bring out their money to invest here, somebody is going to come up and challenge them. So my appeal to the government is, whatever the policies and programs of government are that are discouraging Nigerians from investing their monies, let us stop them. Number 2, let us appeal to Nigerians who have monies abroad to bring it back and invest. Please. In this room here, you have people who can rule other nations.